Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Zach Lee. So the starters for the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference for this year's All-Star Game have just been announced. For the Eastern Conference, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, Kyrie Irving, and Kemba Walker. And then for the Western Conference, you got LeBron James, Paul George, Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Stephen Curry. And when I first heard this news, I am not gonna lie, my initial reaction was, wow, Paul George and Kemba Walker are actually starters for the NBA All-Star Game. And that's because I don't think most people before this season started would have thought that Paul George or Kemba Walker would be starters in the NBA All-Star Game. Heck, I even voted for Paul George to be a starter in the All-Star Game this year, and deep down in my heart of hearts, I still believed that there was no chance that he would be a starter in the All-Star Game. And after the Thunder's game against the Pelicans early on in the night, Paul George addressed this as he says that he knew that when he was traded to the Western Conference that everyone was counting him out, that no one thought he would ever be an All-Star again.
Paul, the West is tough and the competition in the front court is really stiff. Does it mean something? It's the first time in the West to be named a starter. Is that special?
Absolutely. When I got traded here, you know, it was almost, people thought it was going to be the end of me being an All-Star coming out to the West. But you know, God is good.
Last year, Paul George had to get into the All-Star Game as an injury replacement, and now this year, he's starting. The come up is real. As for Kemba Walker, I thought Victor Oladipo was gonna get in over him, but turns out sadly that didn't matter because Victor Oladipo is unfortunately out for the season. And even then, before the season started, I thought a lot more players from the Eastern Conference would be named as a starter in the All-Star Game before Kemba Walker, and yet here we are. And I guess the main reason I thought that was because I had always been hearing how people thought Kemba Walker was so underrated. So now me thinking that everyone thought Kemba Walker was still underrated, I thought that he wasn't popular enough to get enough votes, but it turns out I was wrong, and it turns out that Kemba Walker being named a starter in the All-Star Game completely killed all argument of him being the most underrated player in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors just beat the Washington Wizards 126-118. The Warriors are now 3-0 with Cousins playing. Cousins had 17 points on 8 of 12 shooting in 24 minutes in this game, while Curry, on the other hand, scored 38 points. And when I was watching this game in the third quarter, I couldn't help but to stop and think to myself, this team never should have been allowed to exist. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. But if you're going to draft Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, heck at the time even Harrison Barnes, okay, that's fine. If you want to surround them with great players such as Sean Livingston and Andre Iguodala, that's perfectly fine too. Congratulations, you got yourself a championship caliber team. But not only that, they go out and add Kevin Durant, which immediately puts them into the conversation of being the best team in NBA history. But not only do they stop at that, but they then go and add DeMarcus Cousins to that lineup as well, to form a lineup that only makes me wish that I could go back into 2015 with this lineup and prove that it's happened just to see the reaction amongst NBA fans. Despite how stacked the Golden State Warriors are though, there was still that chance out there that DeMarcus Cousins eventually comes back for them and things don't work out so well. DeMarcus Cousins doesn't fit, he starts to cause chemistry issues, and that in and of itself can help other teams take down the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs. That was probably one of the last hopes that people who didn't want to see the Warriors win another championship were clinging to, and now that possibility is dead too. That's gone, that's not about to happen, as we have been seeing the exact opposite so far. So as of right now, I don't see a realistic way that a team can beat the Golden State Warriors outside of a major trade going down, or of course a devastating injury. Outside of something like that, it doesn't look possible. That being said, I still do think we're going to get some really good playoff series in both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, kind of similar to last year. In the Eastern Conference, we had quite a few really good series. The Bucks taking the Celtics to Game 7 in round 1. Every series that the Cleveland Cavaliers played in turned out to be unbelievable. Even their series against the Toronto Raptors was unbelievable. Absolutely no one believed that the Raptors went out and got swept yet again. And as for the Western Conference, you had some great moments and a couple of good series too. It was fun watching the Pelicans mop the floor with the Blazers in round 1. People couldn't stop talking about the Utah Jazz beating the OKC Thunder. And then there was the Houston Rockets taking the Golden State Warriors to Game 7. There was some really good moments in last year's playoffs. playoffs, and as a whole, despite how boring games 2, 3, and 4 were of the NBA Finals, I'd say that the playoffs, they were entertaining, they were good, and a heck of a lot better than they were as a whole the previous year. Also, when it comes to the NBA Finals this year, I think it's safe to say that at the very least, even though the outcome may be predetermined with the Golden State Warriors, at the very least, we are going to be seeing a much better finals series than we saw either of the past 2 years. The Portland Trailblazers got the win over the Phoenix Suns 120-106. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum both scoring at least 20 points, as did Jake Layman off the bench. The Blazers are now 30-20 in the year, though the Suns were without DeAndre Ayton and TJ Warren in this game. The Los Angeles Lakers lost again, this time to the Minnesota Timberwolves 120-105. Karl Anthony Towns with 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists, and this loss came even though the Lakers got Rajon Rondo back, as he had 15 points and 13 assists. And as for the Los Angeles Lakers, we had to talk about them real quick, because I know some people are trying to make it seem like all hope is lost for the Los Angeles Lakers. They're still without LeBron James. They're not even in the playoffs if they were to start right now. They're the 9th seed and not the 8th seed anymore. And the team as a whole, yeah, they're not playing too well right now. Lonzo Ball just went down even when they did have Lonzo Ball. LeBron James and Rajon Rondo without LeBron James and Rajon Rondo, the team really struggled. So there wasn't too much to be optimistic about if you were a Los Angeles Lakers fan, but if you were a Los Angeles Lakers hater or someone who's looking to see them fail, then you were at your peak happiness. This is the time where you can say, I told you so, I knew it all along, that the Lakers would be nothing this year, even though most realistic people weren't expecting them to be the best team in the league anyways. However, despite everything that might be going wrong for the Lakers right now, we have to look at the bigger picture. There's still over 30 games left to be played in the season. LeBron James will be back within the next week or two at the very latest, and the Lakers are only 1.5 games behind the Los Angeles Clippers for the 8th seed in the playoffs. I'm not too worried about the teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves that are on the Lakers' heel from 10 down to 15, because I know once LeBron comes back that the Lakers are going to be able to be better than those teams. And I also know that once LeBron comes back, that there's no way that the Los Angeles Lakers aren't going to make the playoffs. They were just starting to find their rhythm when they got hit with this injury bug again. And once they get healthy, they're going to find that rhythm again and win enough games to get back into the playoffs. The OKC Thunder got the win over the New Orleans Pelicans 122-116. New Orleans still without AD, of course, and Russell Westbrook, you already know he had to go out there and get his usual triple-double, 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 16 assists, while PG added 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists for the Thunder. One player that I have been keeping an eye on though for the past couple of weeks has been Terrence Ferguson, the second-year player out of Tulsa that OKC took with the 21st pick in the draft. And over the past couple of weeks to maybe even the last month, Terrence Ferguson has been stepping up his game. He's been looking a lot more comfortable finding his own offense, especially when it comes to hitting down perimeter shots. He had a game not too long ago in that double overtime thriller versus San Antonio Spurs where he went 7 of 10 from beyond the arc. And then he had another game recently against the Los Angeles Lakers where he was 6 of 12 from 3. And just in general, he has been able to hit a few more of his shots as of late, and that's great news for the OKC Thunder, since we all know that one of the things that they've been missing the most for a while now has been a knockdown three-point shooter. Russell Westbrook hasn't had that guy since, of course, you know, Kevin Durant that could just knock down a 3 on command when he passed to him. Paul George is doing it now, but you can never have enough shooting, so it's good to see Terrence Ferguson looking like he's going to become something for the OKC Thunder. And that is actually going to do it for everything that we gotta talk about today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and smash the like button, as well as make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with post notifications turned on so you can stay up to date with everything that goes on in the NBA on a daily basis. And now it is time for the player of the day, where you guys have the opportunity to vote for who you think was the best player in the league last night by clicking the little eye icon in the top right hand corner of the video. Just remember though, the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day, and yesterday, of course, that player was James Harden in his career high 61 points to go along with 15 rebounds and 5 assists and 5 steals in the Houston Rockets win over the New York Knicks. Thank you once again for watching though. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs, and until tomorrow, I'm out of here. Peace!